part 2 of the greatest secret never told. I finished with stating our bodies are biological robots in the last part. To continue, why is this important? It's important because you have to understand science labels the way we power our body as the central nervous system, which is pretty much just electricity flowing throughout the body. But it does not state, science does not state, that this electricity is living light. Living light. Living light which is contained within the body. Everything that is alive has personality, individuality, everything. No two trees will be the same unless they are heavily genetically manipulated, unless it's an essential function for them to be the same, let's say to create a certain environment or for protection purposes. And this applies to all animals too. We are told zebras, none of the stripes look the same, but we're not told anything similar about the other animals. Maybe like a cheetah or something, but or a tiger's stripes, but not everything. Everything is individual. Which also means self-awareness. Not to the extent we have, or perhaps to a greater extent, because we don't really understand self-awareness in anything else other than humans. You don't see other animals wearing clothes or whatever, although you see cats cleaning themselves quite a bit, which is very interesting. I'm sure that's more than just a cleanliness thing. Well, we humans are also living light. That's what the central nervous system is, okay? So in a sense, there's the biological robot, which functions through the chakras of the body. But to function, it needs a source of electricity, which is living light, which is our thoughts, okay? Our thoughts. Our thoughts come in certain frequency patterns, okay? They all depend on the individual. But they are what feeds the electromagnetic points that are known as chakras, which keep in motion the bodies that we are in. Hence, this world operating under maritime law. If our light, because the light is only temporarily anchored to the body, at least for now, before it leaves the body. Okay? Now, it's important to understand this very well, what I just said. Because if you are aware of this, you realize every human being has at least 8 consciousnesses split into 2 parts. One being the consciousness and the other being the subconscious. Well, everything that requires electromagnetic points, which are fed by electricity, is the subconscious, the biological robot. Everything that is not dependent on any source of anything to exist is living light, electricity, your consciousness, your way of thinking and perception of reality, which is on an individual basis, just like everything else that is alive. Now here's where the greatest secret never told part comes in. If you're an overlord and you feed off of gold, which is the dense form of light, and here we have human beings which are in biological robot form, but consciously an etheric living light, not a dense form, then as an overlord, you want to tap into that living light. Do you understand that? Do you understand that? I just explained very clearly how we are all just being farmed, all of us, by the overlords, who the corporations represent, the owners, the royal families, whatever. More so, every civilization, every epoch had its own way of brainwashing everyone into accepting something else as truth rather than the simple fact that we are just all being farmed, okay? For example, Christianity and Jesus, he's known as the Son. Well, the Son represents living light, and living light is us. So when he's crucified, and we're told that he died for our sins, that's not true. It was a message in reverse that all of us would be crucified for the rest of time because of our sins. Or rather, perhaps even sins is not sins, perhaps it's because of our good deeds or our positive nature. Big cockroaches, wow. Do you understand that? We are being formed. Consider this, which is also extremely important in understanding this. The farther back you go in time, the closer to nature the understanding of civilizations is. You go back far enough, it relates to massive trees and polarians, which are an etheric only form of life. And the idea is that the greatest tree of life, known as Yggdrasil, was in a sense a portal into this physically dense world. And there are several channels out there putting out some amazing videos about how there were really massive trees and vegetation in the past. For example, there's a great drone footage video of Devil's Mount. There's no doubt that was a tree trunk, and it's pretty big. And apparently Yggdrasil was even bigger. So Yggdrasil served as an anchor to this world for Polarians, simply etheric forms of light, not dense. And then for whatever reason, somehow, this great tree of life, Yggdrasil, was cut down or blown up, similar to the trees in Avatar. See, they love to mock us, put everything right in our faces, and we're just too blind to see it. Well, if you consider not dense light, etheric light, all living in the same commune, which was the anchor to this world, then when the anchor to this world was destroyed, then everything that belonged within the tree was not destroyed, because you cannot destroy living light. We are eternal, but spread apart all over wherever the tree went. Let's call it land. Okay? So in a sense, Earth today has become the remnant of what used to be one single environment for us all in our etheric forms. And because we got blown up over time, because the same source that blew it up, yes, it was blown up. There was intervention for sure here. It manipulated how light would evolve on the land somehow. They must be extremely advanced technologically. They constructed the environment on a worldwide scale. Okay? Molded the world out of clay, if you will. And eventually they put living light into the clay. That's why there are signs of different forms of beings all throughout time, because there was anything is and was possible. Even giant tree people, ants, even reptilians, even giant mushrooms, and people with other skin colors. Okay? In a sense, you could say initially many experiments were done to see which forms would become the best food sources. Remember, the overlords feed off of living light, or gold, the dense form of light. So here we've come today to this latest epoch, and all the signs are present that they have fully captivated the living light of all inhabitants of this world that are not part of them. The question becomes the following. Now that you know the greatest secret never told, that you are being farmed, how do you stop being farmed? How do you stop being the cow? How do you stop being the sheep? How do you stop having your energy sucked out of you? Well, a good place to start is with a very good self-understanding. If you understand and accept this truth that you are just living light in a biological robot, which is designed to draw your living light out of you, then perhaps you can figure out how to prevent this from occurring. Now, your body is connected to the system. The entire environment is the system. Start by understanding what thoughts are, because your perception of reality is determined by your thoughts, and your thoughts are dictated by who you are as an individual on this plane of existence.